Okay, hi. So hold on, So I decided today to look at the chart of Stanislav Grof, who he was a psychologist back in like the 60s, and so he's known most commonly for redefining non ordinary states of consciousness, revolutionizing our view of the human psyche, and ushering in a psychology of the future. Sorry. Uh, and so when I looked at his midpoints first. And the tightest ones that he has in his natal chart are Sun at the midpoint of Venus and Jupiter, 27 minutes. He also has Jupiter at the midpoint of Venus and Neptune. That's at 25 minutes. And then he has right here Uranus at the midpoint of Sun and Moon, which is at only 1 minute. And so, I mean, I feel like the stuff that I just said he's most known for, it's like really stereotypical of what you would think of Uranus with the Sun and the Moon right here. Just to give a little bit more like a background information about him. So he and also his wife, Christina, they spent 50 years studying the healing potentials of psychedelics and non-ordinary states of consciousness in the field of psychology. Which sounds, like kind of out there and not serious, but he actually it's over here. Abraham Maslow, who is the founder of humanistic psychology, he noted that him and his wife's work was one of the most important contributors to personality theory. And then a religious scholar, his name is Huston Smith, he said that Stanislav Grof was one of the most influential people in the 20th century. He was a principal investigator at the Psychiatric Research Institute in Prague in the 1960s. There's a psychedelic research program there. He was also the chief of psychiatric research at the Maryland Psychiatric Research Center, and he was also an assistant professor of psychiatry at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. So, I know it sounds like he's just some guy who's like out there experimenting around with LSD, him and his wife, but he actually, he's like a legit psychologist. And so it says also he always struggled to envision a psychotherapy that would afford greater therapeutic benefit to his psychiatric patients. And he just happened, very Uranian. He just happened to come across this guy who was like a pharmaceutical designer is what it says. He just happened to meet him and kind of get introduced to LSD. But he honestly, like, he was led into these things because, well, first of all, it says that he had like a really huge desire to know his patients, like the inner life of his patients on a really intimate level. And so he when he first started out, he decided to receive psychedelic training in what they called experimental psychosis. that was induced by LSD, and basically he said that he received numinous visions that redirected his professional career and would alter like the course of, you know, the direction that he was heading in psychology and psychiatry forever, basically. I mean, him and his wife dedicated their life to this, and they also are very well known for developing what's called holotropic breathwork. Okay, let's see. So when I looked up this one, because this is obviously the strongest one, this showed up in 9 vibration. So they're conjunct there. And then I also thought that was really interesting that his Uranus is in 16th aspects with Mars and Jupiter. And let's see, I wrote down like exactly what interactions between those 3 planets mean, but I think that I might just skip it because I wanted to talk about so back when he started doing these things, like most psychologists, they really they did not place a lot of emphasis on what's called non-ordinary states of consciousness, with the exception of like some dreams that patients would have. But for the most part, they generally viewed these non-ordinary states of consciousness to be you know, something bad, like a pathological condition, and something that they really felt was best to suppress, and in some cases even completely eradicate. They didn't think that it was healthy at all, and he believed that not only was there like potential forms of healing in these non-ordinary states of consciousness, but he also believed that by like taking a closer look into these things, that you know, that we could get a deeper look inside of the human psyche itself. And he really wanted to experiment and research and find ways to you know, see into the human psyche beyond just the regular forms of analysis that were prevalent like during that time. He obviously was like a big contributor to transpersonal psychology, which is kind of still like an emerging field today. And then he also, through his research, he thought that traditional models for theory of mind should be expanded to include 2 additional levels in the psyche. One that's perinatal, which involves the process of birth, and secondly, transpersonal, which involve relationships that go beyond just relationships with the self. And I mean, I think that all those things really relate to these 3 planets. Obviously the sun and the moon would be relating to like psychology and the psyche, and then Uranus would be like revolutionizing that, and also just you know, non-ordinary things. Also, I feel like the fact that this is highlighted in the 9th vibration, as well as including Uranus, Jupiter, and Mars, is just kind of relates to like how he pushed the envelope and he went beyond the boundaries of what everybody else was doing. during that time. One quote from him is, psychedelics used responsibly and with proper caution would be for psychiatry what the microscope is to the study of biology and medicine, or the telescope for astronomy. And so I'm like running out of time, and I didn't even on my own like look into that more. It kind of seems like there's more like Saturn themes involved with that. I'm sure it's in there, but I didn't look at it myself. And I think that's it. I hope that I wasn't talking too much about him and his work and not enough about the astrology. But anyway, all right, I guess I'm going to end it here. So thank you.